Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, 4 nerds, by nerds, hanging out with this nerd.
I'm Ted.
And this is our weekly wrap, formerly known as the Nerdy News.
So in the old days, we would used to sit and grab this list of stuff and read and ramble about all the things that we've done over the past week.
But instead, we're just going to ramble about the past week.
We're going to ramble about other things. If there's something that you missed, something that you want to watch again, all the links for everything that we've done that we want to talk about, it's all down below. You can jump right to it. You can watch the rest of the video and then check out the links however you want to do it, but all the links are in the description.
Yes, we've moved to a more of a discussion format, and this we have something really cool to talk about. Ted went, and this has been killing him, absolutely murdering him on the inside. Parts of his soul has died over this.
I wouldn't quite go that far. A while back, Watts put out the Planes of Zendikar?
Yeah, the
Planeshift Zendikar. The first time that they've actually had a crossover between the D&D universe and the Magic the Gathering universe.
But why should they care about that? That's all old news.
Well, I want to have it in a physical thing that's in nice copy that I can have at my gaming table. I am old school. I don't read digitally all that often unless I'm forced to. So I'm like, well, I know there's places out there that could print this kind of stuff. And as an example, Dave, you got this off of RPG Drive-Thru.
So RPG Drive-Thru has a print-on-demand service, which, I mean, you're going to pay more because it's print-on-demand, but they do a really nice job. Nice wrapped cover. They have two printing options. One is better than the other. I mean, look, the pages are glowing off of our lighting, and the artwork came out really nice. I was really happy to get it. I probably paid like $14-15 with shipping.
Right.
Is it worth it? I don't know. It depends on how bad you want to be able to hold the book in your hands.
If you want something at the gaming table, it's nice to have. And hey, Watts is awesome. They give this stuff away for free. It's free downloads. Go right to it. Yay, great. But if you're like me, you want to have things at the gaming table. So I'm like, well, what are my options? So you told me about your player's companion that you got through RPG Drive-Thru. I went and looked. I couldn't find it. So I went to a local print shop and I said, look, I've got these things. I want to print it. What's the deal? And they looked at it like, well, if it says in here, there's actually a fine little line of copyright permission and whatever have you. So I'm like, okay. Well, what do I need? So they said, contact the company and get yourself a release. So it took a little bit of time to get Watts to give me all the details that they needed. Bless you.
Pardon me.
I had to go back and forth with them, and every single time I replied to their emails, I get that defuncto, oh, you've submitted an email through this thing. We only accept submissions through our online form. So you have to go back into your Watts customer service login, reply to their message there as opposed to through the email. Even when I spoke to the one guy on the phone, which I think his name was Brian, he's like, oh yeah, you'll be able to reply to me directly. Nope, you can't.
Well, Brian B. is the customer service representative that sent you the letter.
Okay, well, it took back and forth, all told I think about a week and a half, but I finally got my letter, and not only did I get my own copy of the player's companion, but I now have my own Planeshift Zendikar. It's got the sweet artwork that is in that awesome PDF.
So,
and I've got something that's really nice and kind of fairly unique at the gaming table.
So this was the only way to get the Planeshift, and just so you guys know, we did a comparison between our two different player companions, and the two different printing styles that you can get. And I think we both agreed that the one that actually came out of RPG Drive-Thru, the print-on-demand style, is actually superior.
I agree.
And you said it may have actually been less expensive, even with shipping.
Yeah, even with the shipping, I actually do think it was a little less. I personally paid $40.94 to have the two books printed. Now, the Player's Companion is 25 pages. And when you do this kind of thing, you're going to wind up with some blank pages because this style is done in a 4-page layout. You've got you essentially have a staple down the side. So you're going to have the front cover, the inside front cover, the back cover, and the inside back cover, and that is 1 page printed.
So you guys know, I don't have a staple in mine, with staples in mine, or not. They're not visible.
They're there. Because if you open up to the middle, you can see the staples.
Oh, okay, they are there. Never mind.
So
it's trash. I'm putting it away. I'm putting it in the fire. But this one does not come with the wrapped cover.
Yes, mine did not, because my copy didn't have that extra bit of artwork to it.
But it still looks pretty sweet.
And the plane shift Zendikar is 38 pages download, so I wind up with a blank for my outside back cover and inside back cover. So I'm completely cool with that. He told me, told me, as he's building it, this is how it's going to be, and I'm like, hey, I'm cool and kosher with it. So I thought it was really awesome, and I now can have these at the table.
Yes, and so can you, if you go get the letter, or if you go to RPG Drive-Thru. The one you can find, the one you cannot, Player's Companion's there. It's free. Download it. If you actually want a physical copy, you're going to have to pay for that. But, I wanted it. I got it.
Right.
I was happy.
And I was in the same boat. I was like, well, how can I make this happen? So that's the way to make it happen.
That is how you make it happen. So, what about last week? Anything? What did we do last week that we want to talk about? I do know there was one comment thread that was rather explosive on one of our GM 911s. You got the list there?
I do.
And so that was the introducing NPCs with elaborate backstories, and you guys were kind of going at it for a little while. I'm like, should we break this up? Should we let them go? I don't know. So that was kind of interesting. It's like, it's funny because that.
So if you're looking for some drama, apparently that's a way you can go.
Yeah, and both sides actually raised good points. I think some points could have been raised with better tact.
It's the internet. You always have to worry about that.
And not to call anyone out. Like I said, there were good points, and the thing as us as Nerdarchy want to do is we don't want to discourage someone from being a GM or a DM. In this particular instances, the ideas were not really good ideas for running a game, and they're more than likely they're going to put your players off. So we wanted to make that clear because honestly we weren't able to answer that GM 911 in the manner that GM wanted, because
right. He had an idea. And he was really happy with the idea, and there could have been more to his vision that wasn't given to us. But based off of the information he gave to us, it seemed like this is not a way you want to go.
Yeah, and as GMs, we've been doing this for a long time. We've done exactly what he wanted to do over and over again. And it took us a while to go, oh, we're boring our players because they actually want to play the game and not listen to us tell them a story.
I know that in one of your many notebooks, I am certain you've got some kind of 2 to 5 page dissertation that you're going to sit and that you have sat and read to us at some point in time or another.
You got to wake people up at the table. It gets messy, So yeah, so in all honesty, like we agree that every GM starting out has probably done this, and we try and lay this stuff out so you don't have to.
Yeah, the idea is we want to take our experience and educate you guys, help you guys out so that you have the ability to grow and grow faster than we did as GMs.
Exactly. I mean, back when we started, did the internet even exist? Or it was in its infancy?
It might have been in its infancy when I started. I want to say 97 is when the internet started really out there. So I know you started well before that, and I think I started a few years prior to that. I want to say 94.
Ish, yeah. Ish. So we had our first viewer request for a out-of-the-box D&D encounter that went up on the website from Mike Gould. Thank you, Mike Gould. That was the Aces High, and based off of, I believe it wasn't a GM 911, but a video suggestion or request that we had about aerial encounters and using an airship.
I was a really I hate to keep saying this, but I'm really digging Mike's articles, and that was yet another good one.
The Banshees.
The Banshees are badass goblins riding bats. He gives you a lot of cool tactics. There's actually a new item to be able to be used in that particular article, which has a whole new mechanic to it. Which I don't know how much you paid attention to it, but it adds the new mechanic of weapon initiative, so you can drop the grenado, and once
it's on a timer.
Once it's dropped, it's on a timer. So once you drop it, you roll the d20, and that's the initiative modifier. It goes off. So it could be like if you drop it high, and you roll high, it can go off real quick. But if you're low and you drop it and it's above you, it's not going to go off until the next round. So it's a really cool mechanic. I actually really, really dig it, and it's not like a massive time delay of the game because you're just trading
around.
Right. It's not a combat delay.
Right.
It's something that it's still gonna have a spell effect type scenario.
Oh, that's hilarious! If a bunch of them get dropped at the same time, the DM rolls a bunch of initiatives and be like, "Okay, boom, boom, boom."
So that
one's a done. Thank God, boom.
So that it can add some comedic value, but overall, I'm really, really impressed with the way that article came out. There's a lot of really useful tactics. If you're not playing airships, he gave some other scenarios of when those Banshees
could be useful.
Could be useful. These things just continue to prove their worth in my eyes. I hope you guys out there are enjoying Mike's articles as much as I am.
Yeah, I do. I could definitely see it'd be hilarious to have one not go off, depending on the way the initiatives work, and have someone pick it up and throw it back. You could totally do that. So that would be kind of cool. Or their action is throwing it away, or getting rid of it. So yeah, you could definitely do some cool things with that. So like I said, we did a viewer request, and I was like, man, it'd be cool if Mike Gould did an out of the box on this, and bam, there it was.
It happened. It takes a little bit of time between when we do our videos for when the viewers see them, when it has time to turn around, and Mike's articles post on Fridays. So
yeah,
but
we had a guest appearance last week from Scott Garby, who came loaded for bear with some interesting ideas.
Indeed,
he wanted to, even though he's not a Kickstarter supporter himself for the most part,
he apparently did some buttloads of research.
Well, not only that, he just follows it because he follows the industry, and he just genuinely just loves tabletop games.
Indeed.
and anything surrounding him. So so he's fascinated by how all that works. His thing is, he's not against Kickstarters. He's against waiting for his stuff. Is basically the way.
Well, so many of us have had we've had our wait system ruined, or our patience ruined by that 1 day, 2 day delivery, and it's like, all right, wait a second, so I'm gonna pay all this money, and I might not see it for months or years
or ever.
Well,
it's happened.
It has.
So there's there's that. So that was an interesting conversation that we were able to have, talking about the top 10 Kickstarters for tabletop role playing games.
Mm-hmm.
We have another one we did about the Kings of Kickstarter. So it was kind of based off of all that same data, but we went a little bit more in depth on a couple of the specific designers and game companies out there. So that was fun to do with him. So you guys can look forward to that.
Going back to the website. I made a guest appearance. I haven't written an article in quite some time, with us actually having some decent authors and enough of them to cover the week. But some stuff happened this week. I wound up doing an article. I talked more about the stuff that I had done in our miniature modding chat that we had with Nerdarchist Alan and DMG Info. So I dropped an article on that over on the Facebook. People were talking about it. So
I was kind of surprised because last week we also put up the who becomes a blood hunter.
Yep.
What does your class say about you? And the discussions, I was really surprised that it seemed like a lot of people weren't even aware of the class, and they're like, "This sounds a lot like The Witcher, right?" The game, which Matt Mercer had run a game for Vin Diesel when the Blood Hunter movie had come out. Or not,
Witch Hunter.
The Witch Hunter movie come out, and it was originally the Witch Hunter was the claim of the class, and it was loosely based off of that movie as well as the Witcher game, and then after like the press for the movie had been done and everything, he switched it from the Witch Hunter to the Blood Hunter, which is still, and he's done quite a few updates on the class and added a couple more archetypes. There's like 4 archetypes to it now. Yep. So yeah, like I said, I was really surprised that people weren't familiar with the class. I guess I just assume if you're hanging out on YouTube and the internet, you've heard of Geek and Sundry and Critical Role and Matt Mercer. Again, those are things that you could pick up on RPG Drive-Thru. And then you can own them as well. I think they're pay what you want, so that's free to whatever you think it's worth.
Well, the thing is about the internet. There's so much of it. There's so much of it out there. It's very easy to miss certain things, depending upon how much your ear is to the ground on a niche or on whatever. So it's we're in the industry, and there's a lot of times where it takes one of you guys to be like, "Oh, Ted, what about such and such?" I'm like, totally missed it.
Totally missed it.
How many people were unaware of Meltdown, and I was like, oh my god.
I had seen it for a while, but been kind of ignoring it. And I'm like, I don't know, it just didn't grab my attention. And then they actually did it. I'm like, oh, this is actually awesome.
So until you shared it, I knew nothing about it. So it happens.
It happens. So also, what I want to say real quick is I want to thank our patrons. Thank you guys. We got out the June stuff. You guys seem pretty happy with that. We have the number of patrons just keeps growing. It's amazing.
And again, thank you.
We're wrapping up our July stuff, getting that out. So it used to be that at the end of the month, the Patreon used to charge the cards, and now they charge them at the beginning of the month. So like around the 1st, and we have a holiday in there, so I don't know how that's going to affect things or whatever. And then before we send out the rewards, we just like to let a few days go by. So within the first week of the first is when we want to get it out, but towards the end of the week. And the reason being is because sometimes your card will get charged, but it doesn't show up right away, so we don't want to miss people. And that's happened as well. And for anyone, if you feel like we did miss you and you didn't get something you were supposed to, just message us through Patreon, email us at nerdarchy@gmail.com, and we'll figure it out and get it straightened away. We're still working out the kinks of the process and our own system. If you are a patron and you were a patron previous to us offering these reward levels, what we would really like for you to do is go in there and switch your levels. You don't have to increase them or anything like that. It's just a matter of whatever you're paying at, find the level that matches it. And I think it's like check a box or something. So this way, one of the things that I messed up on when I had originally sent out the rewards were I went to the levels for each thing, for each reward level, and I sent those people their stuff. And someone had sent an email, which made me realize that there was a bunch of people that haven't selected a reward level, but they really did qualify for it. Right. So I had to go back in and manually go, okay, who gets what, and make sure everyone got their stuff, whether you want it or not, apparently. But I feel like just a lot of people just don't actually know,
right?
What that entails. Also on Patreon, we want to add a couple goal levels. Like we have rewards now, but we want to do goals, and like I know we want to get back to doing an online game. We've been talking about trying to figure out who can we get that will game with us online, who's going to be fun and interesting for you guys to watch, and
unfortunately, we do have to look at reliability.
Yes, that is the big factor right there, the scheduling. One of the goals we had mentioned it before. It's not up there yet. I still have to crunch the numbers and make sure we put it at the right number, but it's probably going to be around 1,000, 1,200, which we're not that far off. The goal of paying our writers, because as Ted said, he hasn't actually written an article in a while. We've had people submitting articles to us that have been donating them and putting them up, and I feel guilty that we should be paying for
we even had even this week we got a brand new submission.
Yes, I have to look over it.
It's good.
Oh, you already looked over it?
Yep, I've already read it. I give it a thumbs up. Read it last night. So
okay, we are taking submissions, and what we want to get to the point where we're actually paying our authors, and then another goal level will be like we're going to give them a raise. For all you guys that have been donating your articles all along, thank you so much. Ty Johnson,
Scott
Garibay, Nigel Nubbs Sanford, Art Wood. Who am I missing?
Mike Gould. Tim Sutherland did an article for us.
He did.
And then I totally lost track of the name. You've been talking back and forth with the new guy. Is it Quentin?
Yes, it is Quentin. I actually did forget it myself. But once you said it, I'm like, yeah, that's it. We get a lot of emails, and
it's hard to deal with.
It's hard to keep track of emails, messages, and whatnot. And also, this week we're actually, after this video, we're going to shoot some more videos. And one of the videos we're going to be shooting is our first Patreon request via the Patreon messaging system. And Facebook. And they're like, I don't know if you check those messages or not, but we get emails. we get email notifications or whatever. So obviously, if you guys are financially supporting us, we're going to put your requests right to the top. I mean, we haven't said it anywhere, but you go where your bread's buttered. It's just the way it is. But for the people that are financially supporting us, and if you can't, that's fine. It's no problem. We don't want anyone to put themselves out on our account.
We do this for the love of the craft, and for those of you who can and are able to say thank you fiscally. We appreciate it.
We do. I mean, one of the things we're talking about is changing up our set. We want to build kind of a set in Ted's basement, and it'll be similar to what we've done in the past, and but maybe a little bit neater and better organized. And we have tons of gaming stuff, so we might as well throw it in the shot.
Indeed.
It's like we did back in the early days, but we want to frame it out better and make it look a little nicer, a little more professional, better produced. It'll still be us. We haven't found better RPGers for you yet. They're stuck with us. But again, we want to constantly increase and make the show better for you guys. Show our appreciation. One of the goals eventually will be to get the first Nerdarchist full time, and really, I don't think we're that far off from that either. When we get to that point, we'll have one of us constantly working basically for you guys to make Nerdarchy better.
Indeed.
The objective is to get all three of us doing nothing but Nerdarchy, and who knows where it'll go from there.
I can only imagine.
So with that, again, thanks everybody. As Ted said, down in the description below, you can find links to everything we did last week. And until next time,
stay nerdy.